Hello students, in our previous class we have seen what is meant by units and what is meant by measurement and what are the system of units. So far we are practicing all those things are we have discussed, that is Cbse unit, MKS unit, FPS unit and all we have discussed. And one more thing is SI unit also we have discussed. SI unit means International System of Unit. I have already told, in which there are 7 fundamental units and 2 supplementary units are there. Fundamental units means which cannot be expressed in terms of other quantities. That is what we call it as a fundamental quantity. There are 7 fundamental quantities are in the SI unit. They are length, mass, time, electric current, temperature, amount of substance and light intensity or luminous intensity and all. There are those are 7 fundamental units, and the supplementary units are plane angle and solid angle. So these things we have discussed in the last class. So there are certain rules for writing SI units. So SI unit means what I have told, it is a system of international system of units. So there are 4 rules for writing the SI units. First one is small letters are used for the symbol of unit. If you want to represent any of the quantities, that value should be represented in small letters. Always the units should be represented in small letters. Length means which should be represented in small m, not in a capital M. Kg means a small kg should be represented. Second can be represented in terms of small s. You should not use a capital letters for writing the symbols of unit. Okay, and second one is symbols are not followed by a full stop. For example, kg, meter, like this means you should not place a full stop in between them. Meter per second per minus 1 means you should not place a full stop between them. So that is what the statement given. The symbols are not followed by the full stop. You should not place any full stop in between 2 symbols. Next is the initial letter of a symbol is capital only when the unit is named after a scientist. Some of the physical quantities like force, current and temperature and all are represented by the name of the scientist who discovered it or who worked for it. For example, Newton has contributed some phenomenon regarding force. So force can be represented by the name of Newton. So when you are representing any physical quantity by the name of scientist, it should be represented in capital letters. So N stands for Newton, which is used for mentioning the unit for force. Next is the ampere, that is current, and K is the Kelvin, that is used for the representation of temperature. Next one is the full name of a unit always begins with the small letter, even if it has been named after a scientist. Don't get confused about those 2 points. So if you are writing unit in terms of scientist name, that is if you are writing a Newton in the full form or Joule in the full form, means you have to begin with a small letter. If you are representing only the symbol, you have to use capital letter. If you are writing 5 Newton, means if you are writing as a full form, means you have to write it and begin with the letter as small letter. If you are representing 5 Joule, means it should be represented as capital letter. If you are writing full form, means Joule should be started with a small letter. So full form means you have to begin with a small letter. Only the symbol means you have to use the capital letter, only in the case of using scientist names. Next is the symbols do not take plural form. This you can understand. That is what kilogram means only kg can be represented, not kgs. Meter means only m, not meters. Yes, you should not include like that. only the symbols can be used, should not be in the form of plural. Next is the way to write the units for derived quantities. So fundamental quantities, we know that. So how we can find the units for derived quantities? Derived quantity means which is derived from the fundamental quantity. For example, if you are taking area means you can write meter square or centimeter square. All those things you have learned in your lower classes. So how the unit comes as a meter square? Area means you know that side into side. Side means which can be measured by using meters or centimeter. So if suppose I'm taking meter means meter into meter. Meter into meter becomes meter square. Likewise, the volume also contributed like this: length, breadth, and height. So all these three physical quantities can be measured only in meters. Length, breadth, height, all are representing the distance. Distance can be measured only by means of meters. So meter into meter becomes a meter cube like this. So next is the speed or velocity. Speed means distance by time. Velocity means displacement by time. Both consist of same unit. Speed means distance by time. Distance can be measured by meters, and time can be measured in terms of seconds. So it can be represented as a meter per second, or when it goes to the numerator, the power will become minus. Denominator has power 1. When it goes to the numerator, it becomes power minus 1. Acceleration means what? Velocity by time. What is the unit for velocity? Meter per second. Meter per second divided by, in terms of velocity, you have replacing meter per second. Time can be represented as second. So it can be represented as m divided by s square, or meter per second square for the acceleration like this. For like this, you can write units for some other physical quantities. Next is the advantages of SI unit. It is a coherent system of unit. So what is meant by coherent system of unit? So simply, units can be written in the form of simple multiplication or division of units. For example, a Newton meter square, there is a multiplication in between them. So two physical quantities can be either, the units can be represented by means of simple multiplication or division like this. We can represent. So this is what the coherent system of units. Next is it is a rational system of unit. What is meant by rational system means it uses only one unit for a particular physical quantity. For example, if you are taking energy, what is the unit for energy? It is represented as joule. So if you are taking MK system, there are different kinds of unit can be used. In MK system, mechanical energy is measured in joules and heat energy represented in terms of calories, and electrical energy can be represented in terms of amperes and all. So for in SI unit, all the energies can be represented in a single form. That is, only the energy means simply it is represented as joules. SI system is a metric system. Metric means it can be represented in the form of powers of 10. Powers of 10, if a particular quantity is represented as a power of 10, it can be said to be a metric system. So up to this we'll stop. We'll continue in the next class.